to the audio show.
So this is how a man like Anton will get caught up because then he goes through a time period where he's supposed to learn a lesson, and someone like a Mishana will come by his defense. This is why Anthony needs a father figure. He needs a man to talk to him and not a woman again.
Hey, Michelle.
Just talk to you for a second.
What's going on?
I overheard the conversation, and I just want to let you know that a woman like Amber that's in the world is hard to please. I know we had this talk before. I know, and I'm not talking about your wife. I'm not.
All right, so let's start at the basics. Shana is way out of line. This is none of Shana's business. This should be dealt with by Anthony by himself. Now, what I would have done is I would have shut Shana down and tell Shana, you know what, Shana, with all the respect, I don't want to talk about it right now, and get in my car and move off. But instead, he's here entertaining it because, of course, like y'all say, more the ego rubbed again.
I'm just saying because I see how you look, and I see your countenance. I see you looking down, and I know a woman like her is very, very hard to please. And I did I overhear something about a divorce?
Nah, we get in a little arguments here and there. She always tries to throw that up. We're not getting a divorce.
That's not good. Always throwing up divorce when you get upset. That's
But I
not
mean,
good.
Miss Shana, honestly, I don't really want to talk about it. You know,
Yeah,
Yes, so see again, him never have the wherewithal, even in the midst of a very serious moment, even in the midst of him being angry and upset, he's not even able to push back on Shauna properly. That's my issue with the Anthony character. It's the lack of, as a male, you're just built with a certain DNA that when something is not going well, you're going to push back and stand on it. I'm not saying you're going to be disrespectful, but you're going to push back hard enough to where the next person realize what your position is, so they understand where you're coming from. And I feel like Anthony is not doing that. I feel like he's not doing that. I feel like him not doing that because in this moment, there's nothing to talk about with Shana. There is nothing right now at this point for him to be talking to Mishana about. Them have nothing at all to talk about. Honestly.
I know, and I'm not trying to talk about it, but I'm not trying to get in your business. I just want to encourage you and let you know that you appreciate it. You're very much appreciated. And I'm grateful that you're here. I'm grateful that you're in here in the restaurant, you're helping out. And you're a good young man. You know, we all make mistakes. We do things that we're not supposed to do. But, you know, sometimes when we come back to ourselves and we do better. And I believe that you're trying to do better. And I just want to encourage you and let you know that I appreciate you.
This wasn't the advice Anthony needed. The advice that Anthony needed was, Anthony, I think you guys need to go to some amount of therapy. That's the advice he needs at this point in time, because he doesn't know what the issue is with Amber. And you can't fix a problem that you don't know the problem is. Let me say that again. If you're in a business relation, a relation with someone else, you're in a conversation, you're in a relationship, whatever the relationship is, friendship, or is it intimate? If you guys have a problem, sorry, my light's going on. If y'all have a problem, if you don't know the root cause of the problem, you cannot solve it. Don't come up with solutions if you don't know what the cause is. And that a lot of times gives issues to people in relationships because they don't know what the cause is. First thing to do is to sit down. What is causing the issue? Because you need to know that. What brought it to this point? Give me some examples of things that brought it to this point. That is the statement you want to be using. If you don't know that, then it doesn't make sense. And again, Anthony needed a father figure for him to be speaking to, because a man would have kind of asked him some questions. Males would have challenged him. But you see, a female like Mishana sees him as like a son. And while I love women, while I love women, there are points that women can go where them can't go any further for a man, because it's a lesson that he has to learn. Just like how there are points where women can go that a man can't go any further. That's why I say I accept mother figures in the lives of women, because you can relate better to a woman than I probably could. I can say certain things and I can give you certain honesty and whatever it is, but there's a certain point where I can't go any further. That is something that I've accepted. That's what's going on right here, so for Anthony and Shana.
And you're a great man, okay? And I want you to stay encouraged.
I appreciate that.
Stay
No.
encouraged.
sometimes as men, we take on so much, and we don't really hear that from women.
Absolutely.
So
What do you mean you take on a lot? See again, Anthony is him out of his mind because he not quite grasp what's taking place. What do you mean you take on so much so you don't really quite... Okay. let me go back and pinpoint again. She asked you for help for the restaurant, right? You tell her, you know what, hey, you're gonna have to figure it out. I'm here thinking, okay, he has no options. So in other words, now I'm also saying, well, why not tell her you have no options at all? Okay, hey, rest the case. She comes back with another option. Then you say, well, hey, I got some people and I can, work some people with whatever it is. That doesn't look good. It's never going to ever look good. To say you take on so much, what do you mean? You could have done that in the beginning. This is exactly where Anthony is failing. His lack of just self-realization. And so you ladies may be right that really and truly we may need to head much further. Amber may need to push the envelope as much as she possibly can, even if it is that they're going to save this. She has to push the envelope to the point where Anthony realizes things, because as of right now, there's nothing being realized by Anthony. And this is kind of why I said I want her to leave without the money, because if she does that, she proves a very important point to him. Nothing like when they leave people with the money that they're arguing about. When somebody are complaining about money and, well, it's all about the money and you never want it. When people do these things and you leave them, let me tell you something. When you leave a man with all of the money that him think you're trying to get from him, the message you send is extremely strong. The message you send hit him in the core. It hit him to the core, because he now start realize something is really and truly wrong with me. I'm telling you. That's why I'm arguing that so much with you ladies. But don't worry yourself. We'll get into it more.
I appreciate you coming out here and telling me that. But I mean, it's nothing. Like Amber and I, it's just marriage stuff.
I understand. But sometimes women that's in the world and they have not left the world yet, it's hard to get stable. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to be stable because they haven't put their heart into God, because He's the one who regulates everything. He's the one who fixes emotions.
Amber, she prays and she knows her word.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
Well, I want to let you know that I encourage you.
Oh, thank you.
And I support you. And I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right. Well, you have a good day.
All right.
All right.
You too.
I'm going to say this. Sometimes the best encouragement is silence. You know why? Because when you don't say anything to a person, you give them the chance to reflect. You allow them to sit within them deepest thoughts. You allow them to replay the scenes in their head. Because Anthony needs to be able to replay the scenes in his head between the two of them since he's come back. Because when he starts replaying the scenes, then he'll probably pick up the clues and the cues. But if people keep bombarding him with lines like Mishana is trying to do, he'll never get there. He will never. This is why sitting in silence is one of the best things you could do. Not that you're trying to be a monk or anything like that, you know what I mean? But one of the best things you could actually do is sitting in silence, because that's when I feel like God visits you the most. When you're in silence, He can actually talk to you, because all the chatter and the talking is gone. He's in a lot of issues. He's in a lot of trouble. But I'm telling y'all, if Amber leaves this marriage and she leaves Anthony with his money, I'm telling you, it's going to hit Anthony different than if she takes the money. Because you see, when she takes the money, him can always rest on, she just wanted the money. But if she don't take the money, then what it shows is, it shows her extraordinary capacity that she had to love him in spite of every single solitary thing. And even after doing this for him, he still wasn't satisfied. It's going to say a lot about him as a person. That is where the lesson is. But nonetheless, I don't want him just take some money, because the ladies them love when man them just just take some money basically. But I'm telling y'all, that's how men get hit. Give me a take, like, share, comment, subscribe. I'm gonna talk to y'all soon.